So I kind of want to talk about what's going on right now, like with inflation and in the economy. Literally, I haven't had a job since December because my husband like really encouraged me to just focus in school because I was doing both and it was kind of overwhelming. I'm forever grateful for that. And I just hear a lot of stories about like, how it's really hard to find home to live or like because it's so expensive or even an apartment. And I just like look at Michael's life and just wonder like how we're doing it. Like how are we on one income living really well, you know? And honestly, I know for a fact it's the goodness of God. At the same time, it just makes me really sad to know like there's people out there that really cannot, that they're living paycheck to paycheck or have a lot of credit card debt because they can't afford to live somewhere. And honestly, it makes me sad to hear that because obviously nobody wants to live that way with that anxiety of like having to pay bills and all these things. But I do just want to say like one thing that has helped me and Michael financially has always been trusting in the Lord, always tithing and making sure that we give God what belongs to him. It's biblical and we have seen the goodness of God in our finances like crazy. Like random money will just come into our account. He's a provider and he wants to take care of his children. So when we finally, individually, me when I was younger and him when he was younger, we trusted God in our finances. Now as a married couple, he just kind of like pours his blessings on us and be well off with just one income. So when I hear about all this like things going on with the economy and the inflation, I sometimes want to worry because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't have a job. And what happens if like the economy just keeps going high and high and high? Like should I get a job and save? And like, and then I start thinking like overwhelming, maybe I should get a job, like although we don't need it right now, maybe I should have it just for backup, so we can stack up on our savings, which is a good idea. I'm not against getting a job, just probably when I graduate, which is not long from now. But then the truth of what the word says comes into my mind, and just the fact that I can trust in the Lord, that I can trust that he's going to provide for us, that he's going to continue to take us, by the hand through this whole entire economy crisis, because he has been doing so since the beginning of our marriage until now, and I know he's going to continue to do so, So I guess like the whole purpose of this video is like if you're in a financial crisis or you're stressed out about bills, know that you can come to God with those concerns and let him know, Lord, like I need help with my finances. Lord, show me in your word how I can be financially stable, like where I can take my idea, $1 million idea, and make it a reality. Like dream with the Lord. Like God wants to do those things with you. God is not just a God that's just gonna be chilling and watching you struggle. Like he wants you to ask for help. He wants you to know that he is going to take care of you. So when there's a crisis going on, it's kind of hard to believe or even trust in something that you can't see. Honestly, I can testify like by my own truth of my experience with the Lord and what I've lived. He hasn't let me down. And it gets tough sometimes maybe, but his goodness is still the same. His goodness remains and his faithfulness remains. And he's always there. Like that's the one thing that I can anchor to and I know won't let me down. If you need more proof of the goodness of God and how he's a provider, I have many friends who came from another country on a scholarship to their school. And by the end of the scholarship, had no idea how they were going to continue their school, and how literally people like paved the way for them financially to be able to stay here, pay for their schooling and their housing. Like miracles taking place where people prayed for a car and some random person decided like, hey, like I'm gonna gift you this car, a car, a vehicle, or a phone. Like, God is still doing miracles today, and he's gonna continue to do miracles tomorrow and the next day. I have many friends that will testify, and I'm gonna bring one day on my Instagram so y'all can hear those stories of how God is just so big and so good and such a provider. So, I just wanted to say that because he's so good.